All right. Robert comes in. He's got his EMF blocker. I knew you had an EMF blocker. How did I know that? I don't know. Maybe just after interviewing you once. But what's happening? You have that in your blazer. Tell me about that.
This device is just a device. It's a wearable, and they make them for rooms. But there's 50 companies that make EMF devices. And it's not a great proven science, okay? It's not like, oh, if we measure the EMF in here, it's going to be gone. It's not like that. And so it works on very different principles than one would expect of a true scientifically proven product. I haven't found the ideal EMF product at this point.
So why do you carry this one? It's just...
maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work.
There's no harm in carrying it.
Sure. It's like wearing a St. Christopher medal, okay?
Yeah, that makes sense. Or like an evil eye.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
we were talking off air.
But I do want to add to this. EMF is more serious against our health, especially as years pass by, than the audience can ever imagine. You can't come close to realizing what you're inundated with every day in EMF, Wi-Fi, radio frequencies, cell phones. And I see much of your audience, younger women and so on, which I think constitutes a lot, they embrace it. I mean, I don't have to explain to you. They embrace it. They hold it on their laps throughout an entire 5-hour airplane ride, okay? You can't do this. It's going to harm you more than having a bad diet.
So Lauren gets mad at me because she thinks I don't believe in EMF harm, which is actually not true. I do believe it's harmful, but to your point earlier, I don't know what to do about it outside of obviously put this away from you as much as you can. But
I appreciate it. I mean, you can't put it up to your ear ever. You have to use the speaker or use an air phones. You can't even run regular wires to your or wireless earbuds.
Yeah, Lauren, when you meditate.
I know that makes me nervous. I meditate every morning. You have headphones on right now.
Yeah, but these are wired. These are not.
Those are wired.
Look, these are wired headphones.
Okay, I'm gonna get wired headphones.
Yeah, I mean it's a compromise, but the wired headphones. It's not just you have a headphone. It's when it's hooked to the EMF source, like your cell phone. Okay.
Yeah, so this is running to just
Robert, what I get mad about that Michael does is Michael puts his cell phone on his penis in the car while we're driving the whole time.
Don't do that,
no,
Michael.
It's screwing with if I want future kids, you're literally messing up my future kids, Robert, with the cell phone on your penis.
Now that you're back on the show telling me this, I won't do it again.
Okay.
But I think sometimes Lauren's like, don't put this, don't put that. I don't know what to do. And then they have the things you wear on your lap, those little trays that they make. Because you said there's 18 companies that do. I don't know what to do. I don't know all the contraptions. I'm just kind of.
You are around Wi-Fi.
a tray that goes on your lap and puts the computer on.
Yeah, that one.
That works.
I have a bed tray for you.
Okay.
I have the Patricia bed tray from Southern Charm.
No, he's not saying to put the bed tray. He's saying there's a device that works that blocks that, right? It's like a company that makes
absolutely.
Specifically
and there's
that.
The most expensive one is the best one. I can't remember the name, but we can have the name because I ordered it from Amazon. It's black and it's heavy. And
I think it's called Safe Sleep. I use one of them and they're
I'm
great.
not sure.
Okay. The one Safe Sleep is a great brand.
Well, anyways.
And I left I carry an EMF meter around with me. Okay. And the meter measures 3 things: EMF, R for electromagnetic field, RF for radio frequency, cell phones, Wi-Fi, etc., and EC for electrical conductivity, or no, EF, I'm sorry, the electrical field. That's like what the wiring in your house is emanating 24/7, okay?
So we are getting this guy to come to our house called Test My Home, and he's going to be testing all this. And when I get the results, I want you to come back on the podcast,
okay,
and tell us how messed up our house is, because I'm going to find out how much Wi-Fi Michael Bostic has brought into my home.
Well, let me ask you this. Speaking of the harm, what harm are we talking? Like, what are the specific maybe symptoms or not diseases, but what are the results of this harm?
Until radar was invented in pre-World War II.
Sure.
No one realized it's invisible. You can't taste it, smell it, or anything. So, okay. But as they were seeing from radar installations among soldiers, there's some effects of this, okay? And then they said they did studies, and those studies are horrific. And those studies were held secret. And you can read about this on Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s Children's Health Defense website. He is a saint regarding alerting us to EMF and electric fields and radio fields.
And what do those results show? The
results show it affects every cell in your body. Seriously, they're not designed to withstand EMF.
And when we have our kids that are 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and we give them our cell phone to watch a quick show, is that like horrible?
Yes.
Oh God.
Yes. Because they want to chew on it. They want to be close to it. No.
But is it just the signal going in if you have it on airplane mode, and like is that like having just
the airplane mode is communicating with is your cell phone communicating with your Wi-Fi? And
so we should turn off our cell phone. I can't remember the last time I turned off my cell phone. When we're on a plane, we should turn off our cell phone. When we go to bed, we should turn off our cell phone.
Absolutely. Turn off your cell phone. I will have a list of things you must do. They're simple. And you absolutely must turn off your Wi-Fi
at night
when you're not using
switch.
it.
Okay. Well, listen.
And frankly, I don't know if you were aware of this, a company that's sophisticated that may be coming to your home, they may suggest for the electric field that may be inundating you when you're sleeping in your bed and you're next to the wall, okay? Your head's next to the wall. He may say, listen, and this is a standard procedure to cut off the electricity to your home over the time you're sleeping.
Right,
I mean, they have special devices. You can just push it and
it's done. Lauren, we're gonna go back to the old days. We're gonna get some candles.
I'm
we're gonna
so about the old days with the guy with the candlelight. I'm about
the old days.
I'm gonna wear one of those long white nightgowns with the long hat with the thing hanging down. I'm
if
gonna carry
Robert
a candle
and I
around.
lived together, we would be walking around with candles, and our house would be out. I'm so about this conversation because Robert, you're gonna think this is crazy. Well, maybe actually you won't. When I started putting my cell phone to my ear 10 years ago, and I started to notice in my right ear, there was a bit of a pain. Every time the cell phone would go to my ear, there was a bit of the pain in my neck, in my right ear. So my intuition told me, stop putting your cell phone to your ear. This is 10 years ago. And I haven't since. Is that pain, you think, linked to the EMF?
Unquestionably.
Oh my God.
Now that you speak about it, I have a pain in my right ear all the time.
If you read the
too.
studies, and there are many books on the studies that are, they don't interest many people, but if you read the studies, you will think that it's a demonic act that's been done against us. It's very serious. It's more serious than, eating burgers all the time.
Which is honestly actually not that serious. I eat burgers all the time.
No.
I do not want this EMF in my house with a newborn. So you better figure out ways to shut the circuits off.
I think it's a great gift to them.
There's a way
Take me to a wood cabin.
Well, you could just turn the Wi-Fi off at night. That's easy. Just hit the switch and then turn it back on.
I want your phone off. I want your iPad off. I want your computers off. You have everything running.
I'm just living in an EMF bubble.
So what are some things besides turning our phone off that we can do? What else?
Turning the Wi-Fi off. Cutting the electricity with a modern device that does it the proper way. Okay. The biggest risk when you turn it off is you have to accommodate the refrigerator, which is the biggest energy user. And, when I use my EMF meter in my house or my workspace, et cetera, I'm literally horrified. When I went to staying at the Marriott last night, so the electric field that I measured, which is typically, should be less than certainly 50, it was 1900 in the room.
So what do you do? So what do you do when you're in that situation?
There's nothing to do there. Okay?
Just sit and suffer.
You can stay up on the roof at the pool.
You said something about meter, and one of my friends was talking about that there's something on the meter in your home that you can shift to also
On the
turn
electric meter.
on the electric meter to turn something off. Is that true with your electrician?
No, but there are, maybe you're getting confused with smart meters that beam yet another signal
We're
to
fucked.
yes, they beam another signal, and it's horrible that this was done to people, like even without their knowledge. But you can insist and force by law that a smart meter be removed.
That's exactly what she told me to do. Jesse Golden said you need
But
to
do
get
you
your-
have a smart meter?
I don't know.
No, I don't
have
think
to
we
check.
do, but I know we did when we were living in LA, and so that we got some advice
Sure.
to get it removed.
So if you don't have a smart meter, they have to come around and with a thing and measure your meter
Oh,
somehow.
don't worry.
And
Test
so
my home.
they don't want to do that. They don't want to have to come and actually
Of
manually
course, this
measure.
saves them millions, billions of dollars a year.
Test My Home is coming for 10 hours to do our whole home because I'm
I
psychic.
mean, are they doing? From top to bottom, meaning like mold, the whole thing.
Yeah,
yes,
they're tearing everything
I
out.
feel like you and him would like each other. He does everything. He like tests
Very
the
good.
whole-
Do it.
Okay,
I would
Thank
like
you.
to see what the report is.
I'm sure
I'm
this
gonna
is gonna.
send it to you. I'm gonna get your info after this.
Cool.
Okay,
I'm sure this is gonna.
your
Cost me nothing.
podcast that we did with you, the first one, blew people's fucking minds. If you haven't listened to this podcast, you guys go back and listen. People were. I had thousands of DMs about you. They had so many questions.
DMs.
Direct messages.
Direct messages, like
Okay.
like kind of like emails on Instagram.
Got
People
it.
were messaging me about you. They loved you. So the main question that I got had to do a lot with pregnancy.
And if you haven't heard that episode, you should go listen to it to get some context. But go
Yes,
on.
people
My favorite subject, even though I've never had children,
pregnancy.
because a secret lies waiting for everybody, and it just hasn't been discovered due to the assault on medicine and health that was enacted in the late 1800s. So we have a problem, but there is a solution, and you know what it is.
So my entire pregnancy after meeting you, I took my minerals every single day.
Fantastic.
And now you're telling me, and maybe you can walk us through the pregnancy and the newborn, that I can give these minerals to my newborn in his bottle, and it's similar to breast milk.
I use the statement, Canton marine minerals are magical for your health, your child, pregnancy, etc., from preconception to death.
Okay, so if someone's pregnant right now,
Mhm.
let's talk about that. What do you think is the minerals that they should be doing?
The entire periodic table
Which
of
is in
minerals
this
and trace elements. I separate them because the term minerals specifies a requirement of a certain amount per day as part of the required daily allowance. And so it's just so minerals, and then the ones that are used in just tiny microgram amounts, but they're essential, that are called trace elements or trace minerals.
And I have to say this before you go, just because I know the people that haven't listened to that first episode, and again, I highly recommend you do, and don't know what we're talking about with these minerals. We really go deep into it on that episode. But if you were going to give a 30-second blurb on what these Kinton minerals are in front of us,
Okay,
what would
30-second blurb. Okay.
just to catch people up that haven't heard that yet.
Cellular life evolved in the sea for 2.5 billion years. What is the sea? The sea actually was so influential in the development because it remained in the sea for 2.5 billion years. The sea is an aqueous solution, meaning water, of the entire periodic table of the elements. Okay? And the entire periodic table of the elements is 92 natural elements made, let's say, theoretically in the Big Bang by God and his consciousness, all right? And it created ultimately over billions of years these 92 elements that compose the entire universe. And let's speak religiously for a second. This was the gift to this phenomenon called life. And it was part of our ocean, and life developed in the ocean. And those 92 elements were essential to the development, the foundation, the structure, the function, the process, the regulation of life. And when life left the ocean, about 400 million years ago, okay, when life left the ocean, Rene Canton, who is the discoverer of this, said the only way life could successfully leave the ocean was to take the ocean with it. And what does that mean? It means that our fluid, and remember, we're 60 to 70% this stuff we call water, scientists call it the extracellular fluid, is supposed to be a copy of seawater that you inherited after 2.5 billion years. I mean, you get used to something after 2.5 billion
Sure.
years.
Sure.
It is essential to continue that throughout life. Should it have come from our food? Absolutely. But the food has been, since the late 1800s, modern farming methods, artificial fertilizers, glyphosate, pesticides, herbicides. The food doesn't contain, the soil doesn't work anymore.
So we don't get all of the minerals.
Yeah, maybe you get 10 to 20.
Yep. And
The
with these
trace elements are totally gone.
Yep. And so with these minerals that we're talking about that Lauren and I take religiously now, you can get them from this source.
And I give them
Absolutely.
to my 2-year-old.
Yes, you give them from preconception, if you're lucky, to death.
This episode is brought to you by Fashion Pass. So Fashion Pass is a clothing rental service where I went on and got unlimited rentals for one flat price. And they have amazing brands. There's like For Love and Lemons, Free People, Show Me Your Moo. And what I did is I just went on, I searched neons, and then I got a bunch of items so I could take them to Cabo, rent them, and then send them back. So I was also on a time crunch and the shipping was so fast. The best part is too, they take care of dry cleaning everything for you. So you literally just like send it back. There's a pre-labeled bag they give to you when you're done. So you can just send everything back in this pre-labeled bag. It could not be easier. And for me, I didn't want to buy a bunch of neon clothes because I felt like I would only wear it on vacation. And now that I know that I can like rent stuff that's neon and send it back when I want, I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's going to save you money, like so much money. You're not spending like $200 to $500 on a piece when you can just rent it. The discounts are honestly incredible. You get like 30 to 70% off. And every month you get like a $10 purchase discount that counts towards anything you buy. So they gave me a special discount code for you today. Highly recommend if you're going on vacation. You're going to go to fashionpass.com and use code skinny at checkout and you get $60 off your first month. So you can like literally try it for $29. That's unlimited rentals for just $29 with code skinny. Fashionpass.com. So I have this big like drawer of Yetis and Stanley cups. And then above that, I have my vitamins and supplements and of course my probiotic. So I go in there, I make a big like lemon ginger water, throw some mint in there, sex it up. And then I take my probiotic. And the probiotic that I have been taking forever is Just Thrive Probiotic. You know this. I have talked about it for so long. These are the best probiotics because they actually survive the trip from your mouth to your gut. So many of these probiotics, and I've learned this from a microbiologist on the podcast, do not survive the trip. So you're taking them and they're not even going to your gut. I recently was on antibiotics. I did air sculpt. It's a long story. We'll talk about it later. But I really like doubled up on the probiotic because when I'm on an antibiotic, I know I have to be very serious. While you're on their site, if you're going to buy something else, I would recommend their Psychobiotic. So this goes hand in hand with the probiotic. It's very popular. And together, one is just going to give you all the incredible bacteria to your gut, which is the probiotic. And then the Just Calm is going to really help you wind down at night. They are non-GMO, vegetarian, vegan-friendly, gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, sugar-free, all the things. If you're ready to up your game this year and stick to your New Year's resolutions, you can save 20% for a limited time on a 90-day bottle of Just Thrive Probiotic and Just Calm with promo code SKINNY90. You're going to go to justthrivehealth.com and use code SKINNY90. Give it a try today at justthrivehealth.com, promo code SKINNY90.
Are you somebody that feels a little lethargic, feels like you lose a little bit of focus, feel like you're pulling yourself throughout the day, getting headaches, not feeling like you're hydrated enough? Well, I now have the answer for you, and that is Element. Element is a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything you need and nothing you don't. That means a lot of salt with no sugar. It contains a science-backed electrolyte ratio of 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium with none of the junk, no sugar, no coloring, no artificial ingredients, no gluten, no filler, no BS. The way I take this product, the way Lauren takes it, is every time we go to work out and go to the gym, we dump a little bit of it in our water. You get a better workout, you get better performance, more focus, more clarity, and most of all, you feel hydrated. So they're doing a lot for you. And many of us just don't have enough electrolytes in our system, or we're electrolyte deficient. If you don't take it from me, take it from some other high performers. Element is used by everyone from NBA athletes, NFL athletes, and NHL players, Olympic athletes, Navy SEALs, to everyday moms and dads and exercise enthusiasts. It really is an incredible product, and I take it on the daily. So does Lauren, especially if we're working out. And of course, right now, Element is offering our listeners a free sample pack with any purchase. That's 8 single serving packets free with any Element order. This is a great way to try all 8 flavors or share Element with a salty friend. Get yours at drinkelement.com/skinny. This deal is only available through our link. You must go to drinklmnt.com/skinny. Element offers no questions asked refunds. Try it totally risk-free. If you don't like it, share it with a salty friend and they will give you your money back. No questions asked. You have absolutely nothing to lose. Enjoy. Okay.
And I only give a vial to Towns and only a vial to Zaza, correct?
Perfect.
And just really quick, Michael, clarifying. The ones you give to children are the clear ones.
The clear ones.
Not the brown ones.
That's what I want to talk about. Let's talk about the difference between the isotonic and the hypertonic, because I take the hypertonic religiously every day. But
we're talking, starting with, we talked about the C being the site of the evolution of all life, plant and animal. And this C is a certain concentration of all these 92 elements. Okay, we don't normally consider the gases because they change so much, but we consider that there's 78 minerals and trace elements in the ocean. Okay, and these 78 elements are in a certain concentration in the ocean, because every element has its unique solubility, meaning its ability to dissolve in water. Each one is different, and these proportions are the magic of life. Doctors don't even understand this yet. So this proportion has to be maintained. But the concentration of the ocean changed over the millions and billions of years, but the proportions are all the same. So the hypertonic, the strong one, the saltier one, okay?
The brown one.
The brown glass.
The brown
glass. Brown glass. It's clear too, the solution inside. This is as it's harvested directly from the ocean.
And that's the one that you should take on a daily basis if you're not a child, if you feel good.
Yes.
I don't feel good right now because of my body contour situation. So Robert just told me, Lauren, take the clear one.
I did. And
isotonic.
And especially because you told me you weren't sleeping that great, etc., I suggest you take one in the morning. It's possible to take one in the afternoon to just explore it, to take more, and then you can back off. And certainly take one before you go to bed or intend to go to bed, because isotonic magically shifts the human species from sympathetic, which is fight or flight, to parasympathetic, the calmed state. Okay.
This is a selfish question because I take this religiously, but I need to understand, if you were me, knowing me now, my routine, if I'm feeling good. Right now, what I do is I wake up and I take 2 of the hypertonic first thing in the morning.
Okay, unnecessary. Take one, and it would be better to let's say you're going to be working out at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Okay.
I would take one before.
What if I work out in the morning?
Well, the one is covering you working out in the morning. Yes.
And then at night, would you take another one? So is 3 too much in the day?
A hypertonic?
Yeah.
Unnecessary unless you're an athlete and you're just constantly
Okay.
He'd
doing.
like to think of himself as an athlete.
yeah.
And I love how I was
I-
asking about
yeah.
pregnancy and you derailed the whole
Yeah, well,
conversation about your
we're
own
gonna go back to
routine.
we're gonna go back, but I just while I'm here for a second, 'cause I just
Unbelievable.
So it's yeah, I am unbelievable. Listen, that's why I have a show.
Unbelievable.
So okay, one, and then if I want to go to bed at night, would you do another hypertonic or would you do
Never
isotonic?
before bed.
Okay, so-
Because it is too energizing for most people.
Okay, so
I sleep like a baby, so I could take 3 and it wouldn't affect me.
okay,
But in general, hypertonic is not appropriate for pre-sleep.
okay, but if I'm feeling okay, like say I'm just feeling normal, would you still take an isotonic or would you say you don't need it?
You don't need it.
okay.
Okay.
My
And
Actually,
remember, wait, you missed one thing I said. Okay, the children, you give them one isotonic, but I also added to please add one hypertonic to the water or juices they will be getting throughout the day.
And the hypertonic's the brown one.
And the hypertonic is the stronger one, the more concentrated one, etc.
Michael better work harder because I'm going to need a whole fucking stash of this.
Lauren, I don't care about the children. I care about myself right now. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
So okay, so the children can have, but they can't have hypertonic just straight.
But they shouldn't. It's unnecessary for them, and they won't like it. I mean, it's like, ugh. It's very salty.
Yeah, and what this is doing is it's giving them all of their minerals so that they're going to boost their immune function. they're gonna
Minerals
boost their
and trace
energy,
elements. Let's
all-
make sure,
trace elements as well.
because it's quite easy to get minerals from food, the 9 or 10 essential minerals, but to get the trace elements, forget it. It's gone.
Okay. I have a lot of business to get with you on. But the first question before we move into my business is for people who are pregnant, what should they do? Because you gave me a pregnancy protocol on the last episode and everyone wanted it and we
Okay.
didn't talk about it.
Those instructions ask questions first. What is your diet? Have you ever had any miscarriages, et cetera, et cetera? And the protocol that applies to the situations is an explicative set of directions.
Okay,
So it's not just, oh, take this. No, it has to take considerations. Remember, in Renee Canton's time, women, it was common for women to have 10 children before one survived or was normal. Okay? Think about that. I mean, this is a real study of thousands of women. And these women, to be part of the study, Renee Canton was convinced that if your amniotic fluid does not mimic the primordial ocean, a solution of the entire periodic table, if it doesn't mimic it, you can be in trouble. Your fetus can be in trouble because he's used to evolving in the ocean. Okay? So that fuels and restores the amniotic fluid. So if these women who had all these failures of normal childbirth, when they took, even from, I believe the study, and this study is in in the early 1900s, understand, okay, when disease was rampant, cholera, tuberculosis, syphilis, etc. And Quinton was used as the medicine of the day until the 1950s. He administered Quinton to women. Isotonic, he administered to them because they couldn't make enough, okay? So they administered isotonic, but they administered it subcutaneously to use as little as possible, okay? Because they couldn't make it. It's very challenging to make a sterile substance in the late 1800s. So you can imagine. But when they did, 98% of the women had literally perfect specimens in their next children. They to get in the study, they had to have 4 failed pregnancies in a row. That was your minimum entry.
Wow.
You had to be miscarriage, dead on arrival, severe birth defect. And
This is why I know people, we fail to read history and they don't realize how fortunate we are to live during this time. I mean, even with the hardships you have in the world, I mean, like people just don't understand how challenging life
I know,
was.
and this simple product is the greatest gift to humanity that I can think of. And the second one would be getting rid of EMF. You're set with those two.
Is the third one hydrogen?
The third one hydrogen is a close to ketone. And it's just evolving. It's so very new. So
let's
it's
explain
not even
hydrogen. The hydrogen is different than the minerals.
Very
Okay,
different.
let's
Completely different.
It's to someone that has absolutely no idea, aka me.
Why
explain
hydrogen?
Explain it to a kindergartner.
Yeah, and again,
Okay.
if you're interested in the minerals, we did a full
Okay.
episode in depth last time. Check it out.
Yeah.
If you will indulge me to just say something about hydrogen.
Of course.
In the Big Bang, when the universe started to be created, in the Big Bang, the first two things that were created were hydrogen and helium, the two lightest and smallest atoms in the periodic table. It starts off with hydrogen, helium, okay? They're gases, and then it was just atoms, single hydrogen atom, single helium atom. They kept forming and forming and forming from the essential particles, which are protons, neutrons, and electrons. They kept forming for billions of years. And the result is that 98% of the entire mass of the universe, everything that the most advanced telescope can see, 98% is hydrogen and helium. Can you imagine? And yet we just discovered it in 2000. What its relevance to us was. We knew early life used hydrogen as part of metabolism, okay? But no one ever paid attention to it. The other 2%, I said 98% is hydrogen and helium. The other 2% is all the other 90 elements. I mean, that's a wow for me. I mean, that is like, holy mackerel. Our universe is 98% hydrogen and helium, the two lightest elements. And we don't even do anything with them but make balloons go up in the air and things like that.
So what are the benefits of what it does for us, hydrogen?
Okay, it's going to be endless. Okay, it's going to be like ketone.
Okay.
It's going to be endless. And the recognition of it, the first recognition came it is thought this was the first one. It came in the 1940s when they found that by adding hydrogen to the breathing apparatus of deep sea divers, it prevent the bends. And that was it. And they use other gases now too. It's more complicated, but that was used and it was effective 1940s, and no one ever thought about it after that.
Here's like, oh, here's how we can dive better.
Exactly. And then it wasn't until the Japanese researcher at Nagoya University, Osawa, I'm pretty sure his last name is, I'm not sure what initiated, but he started to explore the antioxidative effects of hydrogen and found that they diminished, minimized, attenuated the damage done by a stroke, a blood vessel breaking in the brain. And they were amazed. Hydrogen? And now, so the hydrogen I just want to point out for those who have a little more scientific mind, the hydrogen that was created in the universe was just a single atom of hydrogen. But hydrogen's kind of unstable and fickle in this way. It likes to combine with things. And there's a reason, but we won't go into it. So they love to combine with one another. And so the atom combines with another atom of hydrogen and becomes a molecule of hydrogen. And that's why we call it H2. Okay? H2. So sometimes they use the word hydrogen, and it's a gas. And there's a very little bit of gas in the Earth's atmosphere, and that gas is about 0.00005%. So there's almost nothing. So part of the reason why nobody paid a lot of attention to it, but he discovered this thing and published it in a prestigious Nature Medicine magazine. And holy mackerel, who would have ever thought this? And it was like the discovery of Rene Canton. You mean that you can use seawater to actually replace the blood of an animal? That was the discovery. That was his first treatise. It was like hydrogen. What? This thing is like a master antioxidant in spades. So he started it, and other researchers were blown away, of course, by this. And the Japanese took command of the early studies. Now there are 1,500 studies of hydrogen, molecular hydrogen, and that's not really a lot for what it's capable of, but it's continuing on at break speed, the study of hydrogen. So what can it do? One, how do you take it? There's a number of ways to take it. You can inhale hydrogen. You can bubble hydrogen in water, so you have hydrogen-infused water.
And is that an effective method to drink it like that?
It's extremely. In fact, that's how the early studies were done. Okay? They just put the atmospheric concentration of hydrogen, which is about 1.6 parts per million, okay, in water, dissolved it in water, and they had people drink, like, whatever. They started out with, like, drink a liter of this a day, okay?
So when I dissolve this in water, how quickly do you want to drink it after it's dissolved?
You want to drink it immediately after it dissolves, okay? Because it's produced, hydrogen is produced by a reaction of the ingredients in that tablet with water.
And is it drink it quickly down, or is it you can sip on it?
No, I mean, you can I don't know what quickly to you is, but 5 minutes we've chugged beers in seconds, right?
Yeah, quickly to me is seconds. Yeah. Okay.
So yes,
but you can take 5 minutes and
chug
sip on it. Okay.
Take 5 minutes, yes.
Okay.
And it will probably be dissipated to where it's not useful anymore in say 20 minutes.
Okay. And so when you take this, if you're prescribing to the average person, just normal person feeling good, going through life, when would you say they should take this?
Not next to the minerals, you told me.
Not with this at the same time you're taking Canton marine plasma. Okay. So it's easy. You have the rest of the day. Now, the ingestion of hydrogen-infused water, as they are learning more, they're benefiting from what's the best way to take it? How is the body doing this? So with hydrogen-infused water, and you're dealing with some reason, some health concern, some preventative concern for taking it, it's really good to take it in little blasts. Like maybe, let's say you're dealing with something and you want to take at least 4 tablets a day.
What? Oh yeah, that's actually a good question too. What is the appropriate amount of tablets per day?
Okay. 4 tablets a day would be significant. I take 2 tablets a day.
Okay.
One of those tablets happens to be our brand that contains chromium, okay? Because it helps with metabolism. And I don't have a lot of chromium in my diet, so I take that. I take 1 regular active H2 Ultra, and I take 1 of the Chromax, active H2 Chromax.
And it says it supports the metabolism and boosts energy. How does
the
it
one
do
with
that?
chromium does?
Yes.
The one with chromium. Well, the hydrogen part of it works with all the things we may discuss about hydrogen, and the chromium is simply a glucose-related nutrient in maintaining and controlling the level of glucose. So that's how it avoids things that are put in a classification of metabolic syndrome, which is a precursor to diabetes. And I don't have to tell you the crisis of diabetes in the world, right?
Was it the second, or was it the second biggest?
Well, I think it took over from heart disease.
Yeah, so it's up there.
Yeah, it's way up there.
Yeah.
And it's in countries that you wouldn't think it's epidemic in India.
Yeah, I mean, I think we try to talk on this show a lot about not, what to do after a problem has happened, but basically talk about what to do before it can happen, right? Like how to prevent things from happening. And I feel like so many people, specifically in this country, get so focused on what to do after they've gotten into a poor situation, right? And there's not nearly enough conversation around what to do to prevent these diseases or these illnesses.
Correct. Well, that's one right there.
Quick break to talk about Symbiotica, one of our favorite brands, one of our favorite supplement companies. I take their elderberry every single day right now. I take their vitamin C daily. I take their glutathione. We have had Sherveen, the founder of Symbiotica, on this show 3 times to talk about the benefits of this kind of supplementation, the mission behind Symbiotica, and Lauren and I just firmly believe this company is one of the best out there doing it. One of our favorite products right now, especially during the 6th season, is their 1,000 milligram vitamin C packets. These things are incredible. You can take them straight out of the packet, or you can put them on some food. They got a little bit of a citrus taste. Also, for me personally, I love their vitamin D3 and CoQ10. I think it's one of the most complete formulas, and I love that you eat this stuff. So many of these products are so hard to assimilate into our system. They're so hard to absorb, and it's because they come in these pill forms, and they're just really hard on the body to digest. With Symbiotica, like I said, it's liposomal. It's just an incredible source to get these supplements into your system. Right now, more than ever, you really have to boost your immune function. You have to boost your brain power. And these products have been a key in our arsenal of tools to help us get there and stay strong. If you don't believe me, feel free to check out any episode with Sherveen, the founder of Symbiotica, on this show, where we really dive into all the details and the mission behind this company. Of course, we have an offer. Use code SKINNY at checkout for 15% off your first purchase. This is in addition to custom bundle discount, so you can get up to 45% off. That's a massive offer. Create your custom bundle at symbiotica.com and get 30% off. Use code SKINNY at checkout at symbiotica.com, code SKINNY.
Every single morning, I wake up and I do the same thing. After I hydrate, I make my matcha or my coffee, and I always make it with milk. I've been using milk forever. In my opinion, they have the best unsweetened almond milk on the market. They also have vanilla almond, they have an oat, vanilla oat, all the things. Basically, milk is a premium plant-based milk made with simple, high-quality ingredients. But why I personally am a fan is because of the specific ingredients. There's no gums added, okay? So you're going to get organic almonds, filtered water, and Himalayan pink salt. It's just absolutely delicious. Most of these almond milks are hiding gums and like nasty ingredients. Milk is certified organic. And what they're doing is they're encouraging everyone to hashtag turn it around. So turn around your bottle or package of anything in your fridge or your pantry and read the ingredient label. You're going to be so surprised what you find. Turn around milk and you'll find just clean, simple ingredients, which we love. Honestly, though, I looked at so many of the leading plant-based milks and they use so many unnecessary fillers and gums. And this takes away from the good stuff like the almonds and the oats. Milk doesn't use any of this because they believe that simple and clean is better. And so do I. So froth it up. It froths well in my matcha, in my coffee. You're going to head to milkorganics.com to find milk near you. And there's a special offer for the Skinny Confidential Him and Her listeners. You're going to DM code SKINNY to @MalkOrganics on Instagram, and they're going to pick 10 winners to win a gift pack of product from Malk. DM code SKINNY to @MalkOrganics. Recently, I gave my fridge the cutest makeover. I'll show it to you guys on Instagram stories, but one of the things that I wanted to do, especially having an almost 3-year-old, is I wanted to have like a snack situation, like a shelf with snacks. And one of the main characters of this snack shelf is Perfect Snacks. And Zaza grabs these all the time. So first of all, Perfect Snacks are made with freshly ground nut butter, organic honey, and 20 organic superfoods. But most importantly, they have protein. So a big one has 17 grams of protein. And a small one, the little minis, have 6 grams of protein. So I stacked this in an acrylic holder. It's so cute. And she can just open the fridge and grab a Perfect Snack. She is obsessed with the coconut peanut butter. I really like the dark chocolate chip peanut butter with sea salt. So does Michael. I bring these on trips. I have them in my purse. I have them in my diaper bag, my fanny pack, all the things. And honestly, Michael and Zaza cannot get enough. They, of course, gave you guys an incredible deal. So Perfect Bar knows it will be love at first bite. So for a limited time, they're offering you a chance to try their refrigerated protein bars for free. So here's how it works. You're going to sign up for email or text, and then you upload a picture of your receipt from your local grocery store, and they're going to reimburse you for the cost of 1 bar. This goes directly to your Venmo or PayPal account. I mean, this is so cool, right? All you have to do is go to perfectsnacks.com/skinny, and you get a free Perfect Bar today. That's perfectsnacks.com/skinny to get a free Perfect Bar today. Happy snacking.
I imagine someone like yourself living through the last 2 years, you must your brain must just you probably,
Yes, explode is the word.
How did your brain explode over the last 2 years?
The revel. Well, you probably don't want to go there. My brain has exploded by what is happening to humanity, by government out of control, like I've never even could imagine from reading the most crazy 1984 book. That's disturbed me the most. Okay, by far.
You talked about that on the first podcast.
Yeah, and it's something that it's not appropriate to cover right now. But that's harmed my senses, I will say.
Well, I think like at a high level, what happens, especially nowadays, is that people, I think there is, even though I believe, and this is my personal belief, but I also think there's a lot of books you could, like that book Factfulness is a good one. I think we are safer than ever as a population or ever as a people than we have been in other historical periods. But people are more scared now than they've ever been, right? Like people.
I do not believe we're safer.
You don't believe we're safer?
No, I believe we're safer in the sense that the damage done to us occurs cleverly over a long time, our lives. And you end up in your aging years with Alzheimer's. I mean, these are epidemics.
Sure. I guess what I'm saying is
I think he's saying like we're more comfortable on a day-to-day basis than we were in the past.
Meaning like every day could have been your last day in the 1800s, right? Like
absolutely.
Yeah, like very easily.
It's like pick your poison though.
Pick your poison.
So you want to be slowly poisoned or you want to be poisoned right away?
But what happens is, people are so frantic and so scared now that they just want somebody to come in and basically tell them it's okay and basically lay down some rules and some laws to basically give them a framework so that they can feel like they're in control, right? And so like people give away a lot of their personal freedoms and liberties and push it off to somebody else, hoping that person's going to take care of them. And there's not enough personal accountability anymore.
Absolutely. And we can safely say that the food is not good anymore. And we can safely say that the danger of what's in the airwaves is dystonian, and I haven't decided if it's intentional yet, but it's that bad.
Yeah, it's been I think the thing that freaked me out the most over these last 2 years is sitting back and just watching how easily people roll over and show their belly. Does that make sense?
In what sense? No, tell me what you mean.
People are so eager to be told what to do. And I guess
absolutely
that goes so, I mean, it just goes so against.
Because the techniques of telling them are so advanced.
Yes.
I mean, if you think that media is just, like the media that I grew up with, no way. This is planned. They understand the sociology, the mentality, and they understand the damage other things done. Brainwashing is at a level that only the military knew in the 1940s. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They figured out a lot of these things, and that's a government has allowed it to happen worldwide.
Well, I think governments have figured out that the high majority of people actually want to be told what to do.
Well, yes, perhaps at their hands, and yeah, it could be just part of the evolution of mankind's experience of life. And we have been distracted by affluence. We've been distracted by materialism, consumerism, and the lack of spirituality
and comfort.
And comfort, of course.
Right, like that. The comfort is a lull to a lot of danger because you start to actually believe that it's real.
Absolutely.
You know what
believe
I mean?
that it's real. You've mentioned that's the matrix.
You start to believe that you're safe and comfortable, but the world's a dangerous place.
It truly is.
For everyone who's listening, sometimes like we have all different kinds of health experts on, we get all different kinds of opinions. If you were to sort of give your top 3 recommendations of 3 things that they can do that will change their life, you're obviously so smart. What are those 3 things? Tangible takeaways that they can go apply to their life today.
Change your food dramatically, which is very difficult unless you are ready to make a big lifestyle change. And it's probably either joining a commune that does biodynamic gardening, etc. And they exist in the world, but the average person doesn't know about them. Okay, that's one thing.
When you say change food, or there are certain...
meaning to provide yourself with truly scientifically established, safe, pesticide-free, herbicide-free, nutritious food that contains all the elements. Okay? And there are 6 companies now that most people don't know that supply as a nutrient to biodynamic gardeners seawater. You
That's
see, they're
cool.
putting in the periodic table at the soil level.
That's really cool.
That's fantastic.
What's a company that we can check out that does that? Do you know it offhand? Or should we put it in the show notes?
We'll put it in the show notes.
We'll put it.
I mean,
will you send that to
you
me?
should mention several of them, and they're noteworthy. So it's
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get the notes.
Okay,
from you.
so that's
good.
number 1. What's number 2?
I would say assure that you personally, physiologically, get the periodic table on a daily basis.
Do not be fucking with not getting that periodical table every single day. It sounds like
Yes,
you want to get that periodical table of elements.
periodic.
Period.
And I'm gonna say I couldn't resist. I recommend somebody print it out on nice good paper, put it in a clear protective thing, and carry it around the rest of their life in their backpack
Wait, Robert.
or their briefcase.
I don't know what I'm looking. Listen, I can go through here and yeah, I think it was that boron in there.
We
and there's
can't
a-
screenshot it
you
on
know,
our
I'll-
phone.
These
Oh, we can't look at our phone. 'Cause the
this
EMF.
little table is everything made that makes up the universe. This is God's gift to
Okay,
existence.
So we need to take our
There's helium,
periodic
yeah, okay.
table of elements. And what's number 3?
I gotta go back through my elemental
Yeah.
studies here.
You
and
missed
number
that class.
3, there are. There's hard to limit it to 3, but certainly a spiritual element, understanding what Joe Dispenza tries to tell us.
Oh no, Robert!
Oh my!
You just opened
gosh.
Pandora's box. I think my wife's gonna have an affair with Joe Dispenza. She will not stop talking about
I
this guy.
have been telling him about Joe Dispenza, the metaphysical, meditating on your future. I have been preaching this to him.
He's such a great communicator to the West, but understand this has been known and thought for a long time, and he's functioning on the backs of, and he would admit it totally, on the backs of really incredible people throughout history.
But that's why I like him, because his practices are based on history and based on facts.
Yes.
It's not like a
I've never questioned him. I think what he's doing is incredible. I just think I have a hard time getting into those meditations. I
Well,
still
get
gotta
into
practice
them.
them.
And so do I.
Yeah. Okay.
So do I.
I did Joe Dispenza for 45 minutes today in the morning, and then I did 10 minutes of his breath work, and it sets the tone of my entire day.
So I actually downloaded this morning a beautiful, I don't know where it came from. It came in an email to me, a little gift of information, a Joe Dispenza, like 2-page thing. It was fantastic. I'd like to send it to you.
I would love it.
Thank you.
So can you, for people who maybe don't know who Joe Dispenza is or how they can implement into that day, what do you like about Joe Dispenza that you think people need?
I'd have to say the efficacy of the experience of Joe Dispenza, and he's you know, he's a very substantial person. Nothing exotic. You don't have to do anything exotic. He's just got the right download and knows how to communicate it.
Meaning, like,
on our connection.
Yes.
Our connection with a higher level of existence in which we have absolute control, but somewhere along the line we were prevented from fulfilling it, or we don't remember it.
Do you know
and
what
he
I love
helps you
about
remember.
this podcast, Robert and Michael Bostic?
What?
Is that if I have like a point that I want to tell my husband, I get someone like you on who manipulates him for me, so I don't even have to do the heavy lifting.
Lord,
Boy.
I actually did Joe Dispenza this morning and yesterday, because you won't stop talking about it. So it's drilled into my brain and I'm practicing it. But like to your point earlier, I struggle to get into it and I'm practicing.
The
right?
reason that I like it
And
is,
so am I, Mike. I'm serious.
Yeah.
because it's a strategy session with yourself for 24 minutes or 45, whatever you choose to do, where all you do is you meditate on the future that you want. And when you're constantly connected to the future that you want, you actually end up subconsciously creating it.
Okay.
Absolutely. And you know what? This is not, it's more advanced, but this has worked throughout history. For instance, from a standpoint of simply success, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, which came out in the 30s, I believe, which
Still a classic.
which changed the lives of millions and upon millions of people. It's pretty much envisioning, getting your mind used to what you want.
Yep.
Okay. So all of this works.
Okay,
Love
so-
Robert.
So, I participated in an event.
Oh, you went to one of his events?
No. I will tell you what happened, though. It's very interesting. I participated in an event at one of the most incredible locations I've been to on planet Earth, called Cuixmala in Jalisco, Mexico. It's on the coast of Mexico, on the western coast of Mexico. And
Down by Guadalajara?
Well, I'm not sure. It's about 4 hours driving south of Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I think that's where it is.
And I was asked to join a group of about 10 people that was going to put on a very advanced health experience. And people came to this event, very limited. And this is on a space that was purchased by James Goldsmith, a billionaire from the UK, okay, in, I don't know, early 1900s, I'm guessing. And this is 30,000 acre estate, okay, quite formidable. And it's beyond beautiful. The architecture is something like you've landed on another planet. Truly.
Is it like a private residence or is it a hotel? What does he do it as?
It's hardly used for anything except their very rare events. And even though there are places and casitas and so on to stay, it's beyond visually remarkable. So we were invited to do this, and it was eminently successful. We did it for 10 days in a row.
Oh,
and
wow.
people spent 10 days with us, eating with us, doing everything, exercising, meditation, yoga, the whole thing. And the word got out that Cuixmala, you can look it up on the internet, Cuixmala, I think, Cuixmala.
Oh,
think we
that's
went
that
there.
beautiful hotel.
Yeah,
I
we
know
went-
what you're talking about.
Oh, it's more
I
than
know
that.
what
No,
you're-
but it's a different place he's talking
It's a
about.
different place, but
yeah,
yes, I know
what
where
you're
that
talking
is.
about now.
But they also own the Hacienda, which is a very elite hotel that's up in another part of Mexico near a volcano. That's all I know.
Okay.
But on this ground, it's a registered world preserve. Okay, with animals, it's got zebras and crocodiles and so on this 30,000 acres. And it has these outposts on it that are extraordinary, that include casitas and meeting rooms and extraordinary visual places. And they have a huge, maybe 100-acre biodynamic, Rudolf Steiner level biodynamic farm that supplies all the food for this resort. And this is still owned by the daughter of James Goldsmith and her husband. And I've helped them explore the use of seawater as an addition, because they have the sea comes into, with tides comes in, and I said, you can use this seawater as a fertilizer, okay, in the right proportions and so on. So this word of this event and how it was going just got out to
People just heard.
Yeah. And who ends up showing up and asking to have dinner with us is Joe Dispenza. He had heard about it, and he came down and had dinner, sat right next to me. It was extraordinary, okay, experience. And then his next experience was at Cuixmala.
Wow.
So that is something to just be aware of. And I don't know if he's given any more than that, but people who went to that said over the top.
I would love to be a fly on the wall with Robert and Joe. I'm sure that conversation was above my level.
No, we didn't, because there were so many, it was a dinner of
No one would
maybe 15 or
understand.
20 people.
Sure.
So we kept it to a very a social
Social interaction.
social interaction type.
Okay. So you do meditate?
I do meditate.
You-
Yes,
you
I am a big believer in meditation,
You
and
recommend it.
it's not easy for me.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm in the beginning I've tried it periodically over the years, and then she's swearing by it, and everyone that comes on here and
Swear by it.
many that I
You
respect,
must master it.
yeah, and that I respect a lot. They come on, and it's one of those things where I've done well physically taking care of myself, but I need to figure out the meditation portion. It's hard. It's a challenge for me, for sure.
Yep. I
Do
admit.
you have a cocktail? And if you do, and you wake up the next morning and you don't feel good, what do you do? I feel like you have like a hangover cure that we all don't know about. You got your hydrogen.
If you saw my kitchen and my workspace in San Pedro, California, which is the harbor, it looks like an apothecary. You think you were in the wrong place. Okay. I explore things like any scientist would, doing what I do. I have water experiments going on all over the place.
I would love this.
So a staple for me, obviously, is Canton. Okay, that's the first thing that greets me in the morning.
If you're hungover.
No, just every morning.
Just every morning.
Every morning.
Will you have a cocktail and will you take minerals in the morning to cure the hangover?
No, I never have a hangover.
You never have a hangover?
No.
Whoa.
I never have a hangover. I mean, have I ever had a hangover? Maybe 2 or 3 times in my life.
Wow. So
Yeah.
if someone has a hangover, what would you tell them to do?
Ugh. B vitamins, ketone for sure, and hydrogen.
Okay.
Those 3 things. I mean, I can't believe that I was allowed to discover for myself and bring to America Canton. I can't believe it. The more I look back, I said, I mean, this is intentional. This is a gift. How did I get chosen for this one? And then I think you've seen in my notes that molecular hydrogen in 2009, I was just influenced. It came to my mind. I have to develop an easy way for consumers to have molecular hydrogen. This is too amazing.
And were you the first one to do it?
I was the first one to make a tablet.
Yep.
Okay. So, and I didn't. It wasn't like the discovery of Canton, which blew my mind because it's 126-year history, which I read about. Like, wow, because this was nothing. There was no information on hydrogen, and I did it. And the first batch was a complete failure. I mean, it didn't stay together. So in advancing the formula and so on and refining it, it has become, it's on the stage as one of the great, I don't know if we can even use the word medicine, but it qualifies.
No, but speaking of medicine, my kids both got, kids, are all sick right now because they've been locked indoors and now they're out and they're all getting sick with stuff. And we were down in Mexico. They got really sick. Lauren got sick. Then they came back here and they got sick. I haven't been sick once. I feel great.
Are you putting Ketone like maybe even in their ears and nose?
No. So what I'm saying is
No?
we need to do that more. But what I'm
You
saying is
do.
I take all the ketone
In their nose.
Oh, absolutely. I
Like-
mean, it's even
because you're saying they won't get sick or they will have
yes.
a greater
It's,
chance.
the nose is the route of half the
It
diseases.
can go in their nose? Like you can...
From birth. It should be put in their nose at birth.
Okay.
So I will show you how to administer, but we suggest you take the Ketone, put it in a little cup, and use an eyedropper rather than try to break the glass. And
But last time you also showed me, what's it called? The thing that I can't think of the word.
the nebulizer.
The nebulizer. Sorry, I was just at a loss for
Yeah,
words.
yeah.
Can you do that in the nose?
Oh, absolutely.
Just to give them an easier delivery?
No, that's fine. That there's nothing wrong with it, but understand it's much more dilute.
Yeah.
and,
Okay.
and,
So it's
and
better
you're
to
gonna
just
have
drop
to.
'em.
You're not gonna spend 5 seconds doing it. You're gonna spend 5 or 10 minutes doing it.
Robert, why do you think that you're so high level smart? Like, what did your parents do when you were little? Can you remember something?
They
when
were freaked out by me.
They were. So you're just, are
Listen,
you
sometimes-
naturally
No,
so smart? Is this
no.
something you have to work at? Like,
No,
what was
no.
your childhood?
It was like something I didn't think of. All I knew is that when my parents went away on a vacation, okay, and left us in the care of our grandmother and so on. But I went downstairs. We had a basement, New Jersey, right? Went downstairs to the basement, and I just had to do certain things. I knew it. One, I sold their hi-fi, okay, to get a more.
Their what?
The hi-fi, the radio.
I sold their hi-fi system, okay,
without their consent. Just
I should have known better, okay.
You sold it out from under them.
And I started a lab in place of the hi-fi, and they had a bar down there with the Miller Lite sign. Okay, the whole thing. Middle America.
It was the time.
It was the time, and I decided to make the bar into my laboratory, and so I started to do things and study Scientific American and do experiments. Like the first experiment I did was, I think I was probably 12, was measure the charge on the electron with the Millikan oil drop experiment. Okay. I mean, things like that. I didn't think one thing about this. And then by the time I was 13, I had 3 Tesla coils going, and I was experimenting with the Tesla fields. And then when I was 15, I decided I wanted to learn more about atomic energy. And I decided to do a linear particle accelerator where you bombard high energy particles into materials and see how it changes them. But I didn't have the money to do this. And my parents were thinking that they wanted to spend money to put me away somewhere. Not really. My mother was a teacher, and she just nicely went along with it. And then Princeton University came to me at the advice of my high school science teacher and said, you got to help this guy with some equipment, okay? And so they provided like a diffusion vacuum pump and some exotic things that
So your teachers in school recognized that maybe you had a gift for something here, and then Princeton came and said, "Hey, this guy's got something going on. We got to help him because they want you to go and make these discoveries and do these kind of experiments."
Absolutely, and Princeton was the first place that really built something called the tokamak fusion reactor, in which you create fusion to make energy. I mean, fusion is what the sun uses, right? You take hydrogen combines to make helium. And in that fusion reaction, it generates more energy than anything. And that's what the sun is. So Princeton happened to be the first place that really did this fusion stuff. And I would visit there and learn in the summers.
So you have just always been intrigued and curious and inspired by this, and you just...
Always, from probably 8 on.
I have to ask you this. What do you think of Elon Musk? Like, you must be watching like everything that's going on with what he's doing. Like, what's your... I know he has an opinion.
No, of course I have an opinion. I mean, intellectually, he's unbeatable, okay? Yeah. And you have to admire his gift of business and manipulating things. I mean, making the main booster rockets for NASA. Are you kidding? An individual. So he is magnificent in that way. And I believe that in light of what is going on with a destructive government, if you don't mind my saying, I believe he is a great buffer to preventing it from totally having people just collapse and not even realize what's going on. I mean, our education system is toxic. That's why I try to sneak science into this, because people aren't learning anything in school. I mean, math scores are falling, reading, everything. Our society
how can it not when you're at home for a year and a half?
Well, that's true too. But long before that, they want to teach distraction instead of the subjects that should have been taught. And we inherited from the Greeks and many other cultures, the Arabic cultures, what learning is all about. And a classic education is really necessary.
When you're speaking out like this and you're so transparent and you're speaking truth bombs and you're saying things about the government, do you ever worry for your safety?
I worry greatly. In fact, I don't know if our office even informed you that almost a year ago, and I was living the life of a 76-year-old as a 47-year-old, okay? Because I had that kind of energy. I mean, people can't keep up with me walking or running or so on. And I was enjoying, I'm going, wow, this is fantastic. But then the worst health crisis of my life, which I'm enduring right now. Okay. I'm in the middle of it. Had just, no one could figure out what was wrong, but I couldn't walk 50 feet without stopping. This is 6 months ago.
Out of nowhere?
Out of nowhere.
Since we've seen you last?
Since you've seen me last.
Wow. What happened?
Well, what is the conclusion? That has no real scientific basis because it's hard to figure out. And this will be very interesting. Is you've heard about spike protein shedding, et cetera, and its effects on people. And spike proteins are things that are associated with the vaccine and COVID and viruses and biowarfare level organisms that are showing up in our environment. I wonder why. So the best that doctors have concluded is that I experienced a dump of spike proteins, and this you've heard on the news 100 times already about its association with heart disease and myocarditis, right? I mean, myocarditis is a household word.
At this point, nobody knew what it was 2 years ago. Now everybody
right.
does. Yep.
And you know that, athletes, famous athletes that are the healthiest people in the world and so on.
I read an article about an 11-year-old boy.
Yeah, no, it's anything, any age myocarditis is hitting. But famous athletes, there's been like 10 or 11 that have dropped dead on the field, okay, in a game. So I got myocarditis, very serious, to where, my friends used to laugh at me who would go to Costco and shop with me, because when I left Costco, I had so much energy. I was known to run with my Costco basket to my car, which I parked in the furthest reaches.
Oh, you and my dad could be best friends. He doesn't even have to wave the card anymore. They just rope him right through. He's there so often.
Well, I don't go there often, but you get the drift. So I have been treating myself now. My energy and my heart has maybe 90% been restored. I can run anywhere and keep up with anybody.
So do you think that this came out of nowhere?
No, it didn't come out of nowhere, but I'll tell you an interesting story. I believe it's possible that my hair cutter, barber, etc., who is an Iranian woman, was going to see her father in Iran, and she had to get vaccinated. And she called me and said, "What you can guess? Hey, Robert, you want a haircut before I go? Because I'm going to be gone for a month." I said, "Yeah, I think I'll do it." And she had just been vaccinated the day before and was probably shedding. Okay, so I contacted that, but I will also tell you that independently, two intuitives, renowned, contacted me and said, "Robert, may I come and see you?" I'm going, who is this? And, oh, sorry. And they visited me and they said that you have been targeted with, let's say, EMF delivered health condition. And we've known this since the 1940s. And my brother and I were very aware of what radar could be used to do, okay? Because we were in that world for quite a while. So that is a possibility that looms within me. And I'm very, cross my fingers, have gotten out of the energy problem. And I have a few more health problems, but this is the worst health I've been in my entire life.
So just from a science-based question, if you get a vaccine, forget the COVID vaccine, any vaccine.
Yes.
How long are you shedding these proteins?
No, it's not associated with other vaccines, as far as vaccine. I know. This is related to the COVID-19.
How long though? Like I'm wondering, like, how long these are shedding. Like, is it like 3 months, 2 years? You don't know.
I can't answer that, but other people can. And another doctor that you are probably very aware of, the same thing happened, and he has been recently on his own channel, and that's Dr. Rashid Buttar. Do you know him?
I know of him. Yeah.
Okay, so he's an esteemed clinician and doctor in North Carolina, and he's come to a couple of my podcasts, or not podcasts, but presentations. And I taught him about Canton, and he has taken it to the limit in his clinic, okay? But he recently came down with a spike protein shedding experience, and it has changed his life like it changed mine.
So what is your prediction of what all of this will look like in 10, 20, 30 years?
I am afraid that it's going to be duplicated. It's going to be duplicated, but by a factor of 10.
This type of practice. This is like,
yes, there's something. It's not something I feel comfortable talking about to the public because I may get attacked again. Okay, but it's. I think it's very serious for mankind.
But I'm saying, so that aside, I'm saying after people that either did or did not partake in this vaccine, this experiment,
the mRNA vaccines.
Yeah. How do you see this playing out over the next 10, 20, 30 years?
You probably have observed here, maybe locally, that they are changing the cell phone antennas to be able to handle the far more powerful 5G. Okay.
Sure. Yeah, you see it around.
And the original cell phone, people can tell the original cell phone antennas themselves were very thin and long. Okay. And now they're more rectangular, still thinner than in one direction than another. But they are at light speed changing these antennas. They are, I'm actually moving out of my workspace now because I've counted, or there's a website that tells you where the antennas are.
Because they're putting up so many around you.
Within 3.5 miles of me, there's 293 antennas.
Wow.
Okay. And they are, it has been said, I don't know this for scientific fact, no one in the inside has told me this, that they are going to increase the frequency. Let's say its current frequency of 5G is 16 gigahertz, and it's going to be kicked up to some higher frequency, let's say 18 gigahertz, and this possibly will activate what has been delivered in vaccines. That is what I am personally concerned about, that this is a true statement, because all the other things that I couldn't have believed have taken place.
Well, so let's go down that rabbit hole. What do you think, if that were true, and I'm not saying it is because I don't know, but if that were, like, what would the reasoning be behind that, if you were going to hypothesize?
If you know the history of all this, and I don't expect that you would have studied it like I have, the true history of the United States, the true history of the world, starting with Sumeria, Mesopotamia, etc. When you really get into it, Michael, it is truly unbelievable what has been schemed and arranged, etc.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. Sure.
Right, doesn't surprise me. But most people don't even know there's really two United Stateses now: the United States Republic and the United States Corporation. You and I, and Lauren, and everybody else in Austin, we're part of the corporation. We're no longer part of the United States Republic, okay? And there's books written on it that are amazing. So part of the agenda, starting with the early 1900s, when men, strange, unique men, wealthy men, powerful men, the cabal, the Illuminati, the Freemasons, and so on, they had amazing things to say that we were all naive to. And one of those things was that the world population be dramatically reduced. I don't know if you've heard that before. Do you remember the Georgia Guidestones?
Sure, yeah. Okay,
the Georgia Guidestones are these obelisks of solid granite engraved with statements. And their statements are, the 10 Guidestones are in 10 different languages. And the first statement that's made, they all say the same thing. The first statement is made. And the other, if you and I read the other statements, and said, we would say, that's kind of justice for all kind of thing, kumbaya. But the first statement is the earth shall be inhabited by no more than 500 million people. What a strange thing to put. And if you know who was responsible for the Guidestones, you will understand that.
I do not know who that was.
And I can't, I'm not at liberty to tell you who did it, but let's just say the cabal is a suitable, the most powerful people in the world.
But as the population continues to rise, I think some people think that the population is getting too out of control, but there's others that believe that where the biggest risk is that the population does not continue to go up because of our birth rates, et cetera.
Yes. And that's just, to me, that's a normal anthropological observation and commentary and science. But the people who are really in charge, okay? I'm talking about the Klaus Schwabs of the world and the George Soroses of the world and the cabal and the deep state and the swamp, if you want to call it that the people who are in control don't care. It's not important to them that you have a birth rate and can have factory workers. That's not their thing anymore. They're going for a huge, remember, it's open. If you read the Economic World Forum, 2030 Great Reset, just everybody look up the 2030 Great Reset. It's going to be the largest change intended, published. Here's what we want to do. We want to shift humanity to transhuman.
Well, here's what I do. This is all fascinating, but what I do firmly believe, and you see this as you witness more and more powerful people in your life. And in my life, there's obviously levels and levels of this, but when you meet powerful people that maybe have ill intent, what people don't realize about people in power, that a lot of times those kinds of people aren't excited anymore about material goods or social, like what excites them is power. And the problem with power, when that's the thing that excites you, is you want to just exert endless amounts of power over and over and over. And we want to see how far you can test it, right? It's like, and so with people that are naive to this and don't realize how people in power think, if they have, kind of ill intent, is that some of these people may just exert power just to see if they can get away with it, to see if they can do it, to see if it tickles them a little bit more.
And they are getting away with it. What do I have to tell you about like the crime rate in America?
Because the average person is not like that, but certain types of people that are like that, it's all about how far they can stretch it, how far they can push it.
Do you watch the news?
Select news, yes.
Select news.
I know what's fake and because I do have an intelligence background.
Right.
I know things that I would never speak about on a podcast, okay? And those things do influence my thoughts more than what I would hear on any news. So, it's bleak to me and it troubles me. It's not a fun time for me in my head to realize that somebody's cheating.
I have one more question for you.
Right.
When you hear people screaming at you, and again, going down the rabbit, when you hear people screaming, trust the science, and as a scientist, when you hear that, how do you feel?
Well, if you talk about a specific trust the science, like global warming, I think it's a complete fraud. That global warming exist? Yes. And global warming existed, 17 times in the last 50 million years. Okay. And
so you're saying it's a fraud in the amount of
in what they're saying is
the danger
is the danger, not the danger. There are dangers to global warming, but the earth has been through it before. It may be more inconvenient because now there's more population, et cetera, and islands are going under and so on. So, and the ice caps are melting. I agree. But the methods that they want to force us to do, like windmills and solar,
sure.
Forget it. They use more energy than the energy you're going to save.
Listen, just go to California and see how that's working.
Yeah, exactly. It's not. They're misdirecting us. They're misleading us, and we're going to be facing transhumanism. I don't have to tell you what you're going to avoid it, but just theoretically, what your children will experience in school will have you aghast.
Yeah, I mean that's a big. I think it's a concern for a lot of parents right now.
Surely.
Right? You're not. It's not. It feels like it's not so much about the fundamentals and the basics that you need to understand as much as you said all these distractions that are like, do you really need that right now?
Right. Can we say something? Should we say a few things about hydrogen to help your guests choose
Yes.
the right thing?
Okay. So
Let's stop talking about the world order and go into hydrogen.
So here's what I want to do. Someone who's listening, let's not make it hard or complex. Very simple. They feel good, but they want to feel better. What are the products that they should order that you think will enhance their life?
The most fundamental and foundational is Cantone.
Honestly, guys, I have to tell you, I have interviewed a lot of podcast guests. I have heard about a lot of products. I feel like I'm a guinea pig when it comes to products. And this is a product that I take every single day that I will give my children. Now that I know I can give my newborn, my husband, my dad. In fact, guess what we're getting everyone for Christmas?
There has not been a day since we met you the first time that Cantone has not been taken by me since. And by Lauren too.
This is a great gift to get everyone for Christmas.
We don't travel with the glass ones as much because it's hard, but we travel with the packets.
Yes.
And then when we're at home, we have the glass.
Okay,
Great.
so everyone needs to get the minerals. It doesn't matter who you are, what you.
I just want everyone to know, remember, the history of Cantone for 100 years was as a medicine. No one thought of it as, nutrition makes my performance sports get better, okay? No one was thinking that. He had a diseased Europe and North Africa on his hands, and also America. Cantone was imported to America in 1908, okay, for childhood tuberculosis. It was a medicine in the physician's desk reference of Europe called the Vidal. Bingo, medicine. So its powers are 100 times what we even discuss.
Okay.
And we can't discuss this, but I do want to tell you, if you're talking about serious health conditions, serious, that you're using it therapeutically, you stick with the glass ampule.
You stay with the glass one.
Yes.
The minerals are incredible. And I do want to say that I have known about these minerals since before you came on the podcast. They sold them at Moon Juice in LA.
They certainly did.
Literally, I think 8 years ago. And I remember one time bringing Michael in and I was like, you got to try this. And he looked at me like I was crazy. But now Michael doesn't think any of it's crazy.
No, but then I bought a bunch of it too. But I messed up in the beginning because I was only taking the isotonic because I didn't know about the hypertonic.
So this has been a staple for me for a long time. So get the minerals. And then while they're on the site, if I were to recommend something, and you could feel free to say no, I would recommend the hydrogen tablets that you put in your water to support your metabolism and
especially if you're having insulin regulation issues, pre-diabetes, and if you're gaining weight, those are you use Chromax, but never more than one tablet per day because the chromium
on the Chromax.
The chromium is at its limit of a daily dose.
And how long after I take the minerals can I use this? Because I took the minerals an hour ago.
An hour.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, so those are the two things to use. Do we have a code for the audience?
Yeah, we'll link it all out.
Yeah, you have to link it all out. And
it's code skinny, I believe.
My colleague, Desiree, had to leave for the airport, so...
I believe it's code skinny.
We'll
link it in the show notes. We're also going to link, if you're a Canadian, we have a specific link for Canadians. And also, a lot of you guys asked about the pregnancy protocol, and we are going to link that too in the show notes.
Absolutely.
And can we do
And by the way, I just want my aspiration that I thought I would be able to start this year was to actually have a separate, because Cantone is so big in what it's capable of. I wanted to brand the same product as what was referred to as all those babies who were perfect in Rene Cantone's time. They were called Cantone babies. So I wanted to come out with a product that's a box that has Cantone baby.
Smart. Very
Thank you.
Smart. Can we do a giveaway for our audience?
It's not for me to decide, but
I'm Desiree. I'm doing a giveaway. If you don't want to do it, we can
no
cut
problem,
it out.
Desiree.
And all this is found on waterandwellness.com.
We're going to do a giveaway. We're going to do the clear minerals and the brown vial minerals, and we're also going to do the active H2 Plus Chromax. We're going to send one of you guys
and the regular. Don't force everybody to take Chromax. Okay, if you're
and the regular.
Yeah, and the regular
Okay.
Active H2 Ultra.
And what we're going to do, you guys, is all you have to do is follow at Water and Wellness. I believe there's an underscore, water underscore and underscore wellness on Instagram. And then tell us a takeaway from this episode. I want to hear what you liked about this episode. There's so many takeaways. I have a page of notes. I'm about to take my hydrogen water. Robert, come back anytime you want.
And check out the holiday mineral restoration
Thank
bundle,
you.
Lauren. Look at that, 6x6, 6 of each.
I think we should get that and give it to all our friends and family.
Yep.
Well, I would love to come back to finish hydrogen.
Anytime you want.
Because, people are going to be buying hydrogen in a soft pack. Okay. I mean, it's sold all throughout and they're not just the best way to go. Okay. So I want to help your customers know what to choose and what to look for. And there's counterfeit hydrogen tablets on the market.
Oh,
okay.
Come on.
Listen, what I'll say, if you guys are going to get the hydrogen, which I
hydrogen
highly
water.
suggest, if you're going to get the Quinton's minerals and you're going to get the hydrogen, just get it from Water and Wellness. You know, it's the right source. Here with the inventor, here with the creator. Well, not of Quinton, obviously, but here with the inventor of the minerals. So, come check it out.
Can I put this hydrogen in my kids' waters or no?
No need to.
Not yet. Okay.
No need to.
Robert, you are so incredible. You can come back anytime you want to come back.
Yeah, we love talking to you.
We love talking to you.
That's fantastic.
You are an interesting cat. I mean, wow. Where can everyone find?
But don't hesitate to just ring me up or communicate with me, both of you, if you wish, and just say, Robert, we heard about you. You mentioned some of these off the target things and what's going on in EMF. And,
Yeah.
I'm going to give you my results from Test My Home.
Is this weaponized and all that stuff? If we want to discuss it, I'm welcome to.
Once
just
we get the
do
house
it.
tested,
Yeah,
too,
maybe we could.
How old is the house?
No, it's I don't want to give too much, but it's new in 2020.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so Robert,
Beautiful, and air purification would be necessary. Also,
Yeah.
And they may suggest what to do.
Can't wait. Where can everyone find you and Water and Wellness? Pimp yourself out.
Yeah. So there's two people at Water and Wellness, even though it has really some extraordinary products. What makes Water and Wellness extra special is our customer support and our ability to answer questions in an authoritative way. So there's two people on this team, and Dr. Angela Poggioli. Okay. She is our in-house doctor, functional medicine doctor, and a DC, phenomenal person and mind and knowledge base, and an expert in reading blood tests, by the way, which is something you might think about. So there's her, and she's available through Water and Wellness. And then there's contacting me. You can contact me at ROBT. I hope this doesn't lead to 10,000 emails.
Well, it
so
might.
you can try ROBT. If you really, I get 100 questions a day. Okay. And many of those questions are, of course, about water and so on. And it's a challenge. I really can't keep up with it. But if you have something that's really a pressing question, and I remember, because I'm not a doctor of medicine, I cannot talk about your condition. So ROBT Slovak, SLOVAK, at waterandwellness.com.
Their Instagram is Water and Wellness Co. And you can find Robert at RobTS Slovak.
Mhm.
Robert, thank you for coming on. You're amazing.
Come back anytime, brother.
Thank you very much.